At least the one thing right now is there's jobs.
Yes.
But that could go way too fast.
Call the meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Teresa.
Nelson. Here. Orison.
Here.
Larson.
Here.
Wunschel.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Reed. Bulk.
Here.
Item 3 on the agenda, we have Sharifa Jones, the Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, who is here to, I think, make an introduction as well as give us an update on the 2022 Flag Fest celebration to be held this coming weekend.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you so much for having us and for putting us top at the agenda. That certainly is appreciated. So you all know me, but I want to give Blake Goss an opportunity to introduce himself. He's the new Program and Events Coordinator for the Chamber.
Good evening, Council. As Sharifa has said, I'm Blake Goss, the new Events and Program Coordinator with the Spencer Chamber. As you're aware, we've got a busy weekend ahead of us, and just want to thank you guys for your continued support year in, year out. It'll be my first one, and really looking forward to it.
So yes, it is a well-oiled machine. Blake will be at the helm with, of course, events like this don't happen without a whole army of volunteers behind them. And so we're so thankful for all of the volunteers, as well as the city staff, police department, fire department that also help, because it would not be possible without the collaboration, especially of those city departments. So we really appreciate that. So first I will tell you that the best way to find an error on a document is to print 2,500 items and to find errors. So there are errors. So we apologize in advance for that. But also, more importantly, there's a lot of details that aren't able to be on our flyers and information. So the best way to get up-to-date information is you can go ahead and pick up one of these flyers. And what we did this year is we actually did tear-off pads, so you can pick up a tear-off pad. And so you can pick one of these up. You can also go to our website or to social media. Also, the newspaper's been really great. The radio's been great, too, in getting the information out. We are using a QR code this year as well to get information out, and there's also a map on the back because we are fortunate to have such great parks here in Spencer. We're going to be highlighting different parks throughout the community this year. So a few of the highlights, of course, it starts Friday, June 10th, so it's this Friday. We're kind of piggybacking off of What the Truck, so there's a lot of great festivities that evening, and we're also adding the kids pedal pole that night, so take a look at that. And then Movie in the Park is going to be at North School Park with Moana. And then Saturday, June 11th, we kick it off with the 5K run walk, the bike ride, of course, the parade lineup as well. And then I'll let Blake talk about some of the other activities going on Saturday and Sunday.
Awesome, thank you. Right after the parade, we'll have some inflatables taking place at Fairview Park from 2 to 6 o'clock. Food trucks and Imagination Library will be there, so spread the word, bring all the kiddos out for just a great afternoon. Weather's looking great, so let's fingers crossed it stays that way. Followed by a grand cruise that evening by the Old Iron Company and the Christian Motorcycle Association will be taking place at West 5th Street. Then the cap off the evening will be the Young Professionals hosting the Chill at 513 Bar with live music by Dirty Champagne. That'll go to 11 o'clock. It is a family-friendly event. They'll be serving pizza, bring a lawn chair, beach towel, however you want to relax and enjoy some music. And then after Saturday, we're going to keep going. We're going to go right into Sunday. We'll have some homemade cardboard boat races up at Stolly Park. I'm really excited about that. I've never experienced it, so I can't wait to see how that turns out. And then we'll have a free family swim from 12 to 7 at Spencer Aquatic Center, and the Parker Museum will be open from 1 to 4. So it looks just like a wonderful weekend ahead of us.
I'd also like to just give a shout out and a thank you to all of the sponsors. The City of Spencer, of course, is one of our sponsors, so thank you for that. Black Hills, Arnold Motor, SMU as well is a huge sponsor for us this year. Northwest Bank, Farmers Bank, Community State Bank. So this really is not possible without the support of the entire community to put all of this together. We are ultimately just the organizers of the fund, so, yeah.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions for Sharifa or Blake? Well, thank you very much for coming in tonight and informing the public about Flag Fest, although I'm pretty sure it's on everybody's radar for this weekend. It's a great event, and it seems like there are more things added for family fun every year. So really looking forward to it this year, and looking forward to riding my bike in the parade.
Yes, that'll be
Yeah.
fun. I'm sure
Yeah.
that'll be a highlight. So,
Thank you, Sharifa, and thank you, Blake.
thank
for
you.
having us.
Item 4 is the consent agenda. A is a motion to approve the city council minutes of May 16, 2022. B, licenses, approve Class E liquor license, Class C beer, Class B wine, Sunday sales and ownership update for Walmart, Class C permit and Sunday sales for Hy-Vee Gas, Class C liquor, outdoor service and Sunday sales for 513, Class B beer permit and Sunday sales for Iowa Project Brewing Company, and outdoor service amendments for June 10 to 12, June 24 to 26, July 1 to 4, and July 15 to 17, 2022 for Iowa Project Brewing Company, all subject to final approval by Iowa ABD. C is a resolution authorizing and directing the temporary closing of portions of City Alley on June 10 to 12, June 24 and June 26, July 1 to 4, July 15 to 17 from 5 to 10 p.m., and June 25 for the entire day for a special event, and closing of city parking lots on June 25 for a special event. All is requested by the Iowa Project Brewing Company. D is a resolution authorizing permanent transfer of funds of budgeted transfers for the month ending May 31, 2022. E is a resolution proposing the sale of city real property legally described as lots 5 of Green Industrial Center First Edition to the city of Spencer, Clay County, Iowa, to Brian Bland, scheduling a public hearing and directing the publication of notice. Hearing date 6/20/2022 at 6:30 p.m. F is a motion to approve Country Landscapes, Ames, Iowa, as subcontractor for 2022 NPRL Intermediate Cover Project. G is a resolution approving contract and performance bond for 2022 North Water Quality Project with BD Construction Services, LLC, for $312,194. H is a motion to approve Diversity Farms, Dedham, Iowa, as subcontractor for 2022 North Water Quality Project. I is a resolution approving contract and performance bond for 2022 Rocket Slide Restoration Project with Mid-States Builders, Inc. for $32,059. J is a motion to approve Renaissance Initiative grants as recommended by the Renaissance Initiative Committee as follows. Arts on Grand Creator Classroom Project, $3,562.44. Clay County Heritage Exhibit Banners, $2,000. Grand Avenue Community Outreach for Automatic Doors, $5,000. High Noon Kiwanis Sheet Pan Washer, $13,500. Lutheran Social Services Smart Training Equipment, $3,366. And the Northwest Iowa Soccer for soccer nets, $5,000. And finally, K, motion to set hearing date for June 20, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. for budget amendment number 2 to the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made by Donovan. Second by Tom. Any discussion?
Get it longer next time.
Just one,
Talk to Teresa.
Just one, Brian.
one
Okay.
clarification quick on
Okay.
the Renaissance for Clay County Heritage's exhibit barriers, not banners.
Oh,
sorry,
so-
Brian. Thank you,
okay,
So just a change.
okay,
thank you.
all right, thank you. Anything else?
Yeah,
Yep.
in reference to item E, if we could, at the time of the public hearing, I'd appreciate seeing numbers on the estimated cost for some of the items made in the request, specifically bringing the elevation up out of the floodplain and approximate half-share cost of the concrete construction.
Duly noted. Anything else? Please vote by machine.
Nelson, I. Orson, I. Larson, I. Wunschel, I. Hanson, I. Bulk, I.
Item 5, public hearings. We have a public hearing on proposed text amendment to the Spencer zoning code to adopt a definition of dwelling, triplex, and amending zoning code to allow dwelling triplex to be allowed as a permitted use in the A residential zoning district. I declare the public hearing now open. Any written comments against?
We have none.
Any oral comments against? Any written comments in favor of?
We have none.
Any oral comments in favor of? I declare the public hearing now closed. Item 5A1 is an ordinance amending Title IX, Chapter 2, Section 1 of the Spencer City Code to adopt a definition of dwelling triplex and amending Title IX, Chapter 3, Section 1, Subsection A of the City Code to allow dwelling triplex as a permitted use in the A residential zoning district. This is the first filing.
I'll make a motion on that.
Motion made by Ron,
Second it?
second by Brian. Any discussion?
Alec, could you explain why this came up and what the purpose is behind getting this in?
Yeah. So I've been going through city code and talking with a lot of folks around town, realtors specifically, and some folks that do building in town. And it came up that they were looking at what is allowed in our Zone A. And so we tried to begin the conversation of what are we comfortable allowing in Zone A. And we had that starting at planning and zoning. We went through the steps with them. Good conversation was had. We went from all gambits of what's currently allowed, and do we want to go bigger, do we want to go smaller, what do we want to do? Looking at some of the conversation, some realtors and insurance folks, they see all the way up to quads as what they register as single-family zoning districts. We don't have to abide by that. We can see what's comfortable for folks in the city of Spencer, how we want to protect our single-family settings, and it was decided to shoe that more towards the triplex. We allow duplex in Zone A and single-family, and through discussion, we've settled on also allowing triplex into that. That opens up possibilities for what is currently Zone A, but also we still have Zone B, which allows quite a plethora of residential options, which I'm looking at different ways to better utilize in the city of Spencer. So this is one of those steps.
Right, yeah, I know in some of the bigger towns that they've kind of gone to putting them in triplexes and
Yep.
stuff.
And quads and so on and so
yeah,
forth.
I
Yep,
mean-
as long as they maintain that single family setting,
Right.
is what you're trying to aim for. So the single entry,
Right,
ground floor, not like a condo.
right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions for Alec? I think you might be good. Okay. All right. Please vote by machine.
Nelson, I. Orson, I. Larson, I. Wunschel, I. Hanson, I. Bulk, I.
Item 6, under old business. Item A is an ordinance amending Title IV, Chapter 5, Section 21 of the Spencer City Code concerning solid waste rates and charges. This is the second filing.
I'll introduce it.
Motion made by Bill,
Second.
second by Tracy. Any discussion?
Have we done any advertising? I mean, this is out at the transfer station, right? And about when this is gonna come into effect and put some advertising out there?
Not yet, we will. Obviously, we want to make sure that we get through all three
Right,
meetings
yeah.
first before we start
Because, yeah,
making notice and stuff through there. So I would think since we're delaying these to August 1st, probably as soon as after the next council meeting, we'll start putting some public notice out there and making it aware at the transfer station, et cetera. So
so we'll read on the next meeting, that'll be the third filing. But we're not gonna start the race till August 1st.
correct.
So we'll have a month or so
Yep.
roughly
We'll
to
have about 5 weeks to,
get some,
yep.
all right, appreciate that.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Anyone else? Please vote by machine.
Nelson, I, Orson, I, Larson, I, Winchell, I, Hanson, I, Bulk, I.
Item B is an ordinance amending Title IV, Chapter 4, Section 11 of the Spencer City Code concerning wastewater service charges. This too is the second filing.
I'll introduce that one as well.
Motion made by Bill. Second by Donovan. Any discussion? Please vote by machine.
Nelson, I, Orson, I, Larson, I, Winchell, I, Hanson, I, Bulk, I.
Item C is an ordinance adopting Title 8, Chapter 1, Section 8 of the Spencer City Code concerning use of real property and easements as recommended by the Public Works Committee. This is the second filing. Motion made by Tom,
I'll second that.
second by Ron. Any discussion?
I just wanted to thank Alec and Mark for their time the other day during the meeting and clarifying a few things and ensuring that we still have the opportunity to have some compromise with the citizens if need be on some of these items. So it's important and I appreciate it.
Anyone else? Please vote by machine.
Nelson, I, Orson, I, Larson, I, Winchell, I, Hanson, I, Bulk, I.
Item D is an ordinance amending Title V, Chapter 5, Section 3, Subsection E of the Spencer City Code concerning commercial pesticide and herbicide application. This is the second filing. Motion made by Tom,
Second.
second by Donovan. Any discussion? Please vote by machine.
Nelson, I, Orson, I, Larson, I, Winchell, I, Hanson, I, Bulk, I.
And just a comment on that last amendment to Title V, Chapter 5. This is basically in relation to the emerald ash borer and having certified applicators register with the city. And because of the emerald ash borer, we are going to look at the next item, D1, waiving the final filing so that we can get ahead of this. So anyway, D1 is to waive final filing and to proceed to final consideration. Motion made by Bill. Second by Tracy. Any discussion?
So those applicators will be up at City Hall if there does come somebody, and I think Jared was willing to come out and discuss with people, I think if they have some concerns, correct?
That's my understanding of it,
Is what I
yes.
understood it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Please vote by machine.
Nelson, I, Orson, I, Larson, I, Winchell, I, Hanson, I, Bulk, I.
Okay, item D2 is an ordinance amending Title 5, Chapter 5, Section 3, subsection E of the Spencer City Code concerning commercial pesticide and herbicide application. This will be the final filing. Motion made by Tom.
Second.
Second by Donovan. Any discussion? Please vote by machine.
Nelson, I. Orson, I. Larson, I. Wunschel, I. Hanson, I. Bulk, I.
Okay. Item 7 under new business, A, is a motion to approve change order number 6 to the wastewater treatment plant improvements Phase 2 to extend the completion date to July 22, 2022.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Tracy,
I'll second it.
second by Donovan. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item B is a motion to approve professional services contract for West 24th Street Improvement Project with Cruz, Kate, and Nelson, PC.
I'll introduce that.
Motion made by Bill. Second by Tom. Any discussion?
Maybe Ross or somebody can come up and just kind of, I was a little surprised, kind of help me with the cost. I know things have increased, but
Yeah, good evening. Probably going to have to get an explanation from Jim and get it emailed to you about that contract. So I think he put that together and would have a more thorough explanation than I'll have. So
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item C is a motion to approve change order number 2 to the 2021 Library HVAC project, change order project for an increase of $13,788 for boiler, pump, and air handler coil repairs.
I'll make a motion on that.
Motion made by Ron. Second by Tom. Any discussion?
So this is just repairs, or is this the new a new system, or how are we?
These were items identified during the initial phase of that project that needed repairs that were not known when they bid it.
Okay.
So, I think if I remember right, because some of these happened a few months ago, is the coils, when they got up to, I think, the upper story, is they were just deteriorated more than what they had intended to be, so that's why they needed to be repaired and stuff. So, this is to bring us in so that that phase of the project is fully operational.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item D is a resolution accepting work for the 2021 HVAC project.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Brian,
I'll second that.
second by Ron. Any discussion? Please vote by machine.
Nelson, I. Orson, I. Larson, I. Wunschel, I. Hanson, I. Bulk, I.
Item E is a motion to approve Environmental Management System Program Agreement with the Iowa DNR for EMS grant for recycling containers.
I'll introduce that.
Motion made by Bill,
Second.
second by Donovan. And Mark, did you want to, I know this isn't exactly your bailiwick here, but you're versed on this, so.
Not a problem. As we know, the landfill's under an environmentally managed system, which is a program through the Iowa DNR to make positive impacts on the environment and take credit for that, or give ourselves credit is what I should say, because we always try to do the right thing, but this program kind of helps us define goals and objectives and when we make progress. So part of that program would be a grant every year, and the EMS core group came up with a good project with our mobile recycling trailers, and they were successful in securing the grant for that. The total project is $32,500. The DNR grant award amount is $24,375 with a city cost of $81.25, which will be funded through landfill reserves, which also has some EMS funds in there as well. The trailers will be used in Grettinger and at the landfill. However, they'll be mobile and be able to be moved around. It will capture recyclable material. They will be labeled close to what you see with the roll-offs at Hy-Vee and at the Walmart location. And then those recyclable materials will be processed.
Okay, any questions for Mark on this? Okay, thank you, Mark. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item F is a motion to approve demolition and removal of unsafe structure at 601 6th Avenue East as recommended by the Planning Department.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Bill,
Second.
second by Tom. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item G is a motion to approve grant of permanent utility easement and temporary construction easement with Thiessen Farms, Inc. for 2022 South 25th Street Southwest and 11th Avenue Southwest Sewer Extension Project. Motion made by Tom,
I'll second.
second by Donovan. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item H is motion to approve change order number 1 to 2021 intake replacement project to reflect as-built project quantities.
I'll make a motion on that.
Motion made by Ron. Second by Bill. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item I is a resolution accepting work on 2021 intake replacement project. Motion made by Tom. Second by Tracy. Any discussion? Please vote by machine.
Nelson, I. Orison, I. Larson, I. Winchell, I. Hanson, I. Bulk, I.
Okay, item 8, department head reports. A, Planning Department. Alec.
Good evening, everyone. So, last month in planning, we assisted HPC in getting their May lecture series for the Historic Preservation Month. It went very well. We had quite a number of attendees, and I hope everyone learned a lot. I know I did, especially not being immediately from Spencer. So it was very educational, and everyone had a good time. Also, tonight you approved the demo for that unsafe property. I want to reiterate that I'm not actively trying to get rid of residential property in the city of Spencer when we really, really desperately need it. We have tried all our options to alleviate this problem, and we've just come up to the point where it has to come down. And I appreciate you taking that action. We're looking forward at some other zoning sections here, looking forward in the next couple months here, trying to do some cleanup work that we've spotted and hopefully will help develop commercial areas in Spencer. So more to come on that. We also have later this week on Wednesday, we will continue conversation with our urban chicken ordinance at Planning and Zoning's meeting that Wednesday morning. Other than that, it's been business as usual, playing catch up with the nice weather.
Any questions for Alec?
Speaking of the chicken ordinances, are you guys in the planning and zoning getting any phone calls
We
from
have been.
citizens?
Yep, we've been fielding calls from citizens, discussing the process that we're going through with planning and zoning, and how it's moving forward, and when everyone has a chance to voice their thoughts on how the ordinance should take shape.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, Alec, I'd like to thank you and the Planning Department and the Historic Preservation Commission for the great work that you did, everybody did with regard to the lecture series. It was very well received. The ones I went to were excellent, and from the looks of it, a lot of people watched them
Yes.
on Facebook as well.
We do have the recordings. We just actually got those tonight. We'll get those to the library, get them on our social media stuff, and then got copies on flash drive right now. So we'll hopefully get working on those too.
Okay,
So-
thank you very much.
Yep.
Library, Sarah Beth.
Good evening. So big thing at the library right now is summer reading program has kicked off. Our big kickoff registration event happened on Friday, May 27th, which we pulled off despite having 3 staff out with COVID that week and 1 on vacation. So it was chaos, but it was good chaos. Our assistant director, Paula, and I were both out manning the front desk that afternoon, so the staff that could handle with the summer reading registrations. But it was an exciting, refreshing buzz of energy going on in the library. So we're up to about 350 signups total at all ages. So, but anybody can sign up anytime before the end of July, and there's various incentives and prizes for each age group. And then, of course, programming kicks up in the summer. This week for adults on Wednesday at 6 p.m., historian Kathy Wilson is presenting her program, which is called Straight-Laced Girls, Uptight Women, and Loose Ladies. And it's all about women's fashion from like colonial era and Victorian era, and how that kind of was shaped by the times. And then tomorrow is the teen program. Teen programs are generally on Tuesday afternoons at 2, kids programs Thursday afternoons at 2, with the exception of this week. But teens tomorrow are doing Kindness Rocks. Next week, they're doing a Build-A-Buddy, sort of like a Build-A-Bear workshop thing, only it's in-house. And then this week, Thursday at 10 a.m., instead of the afternoon, Blank Park Zoo is coming for a kids' summer reading program with live animals, so I always love that. And then next week, Thursday, the county naturalist Bree will be meeting her out at Oneota and going on a bug hunt. So that's always a fun one. Bree is great and always brings in lots of happy kids. So, and then besides, other weekly programs and book clubs going on, I'm kind of excited we're having a murder mystery party on Friday, June 24th. It's Waves of Danger, so the premise is that we're on a cruise ship and somebody's committed a murder, so that should be a lot of fun. Let's see, tomorrow, staff and I will be joining Brooke Schuler, who's the Spencer Schools literacy coach. She is meeting with community members, trying to brainstorm ideas of community-wide literacy promotions. The schools have made a lofty goal for their literacy. The rate of literacy for their kids at certain stages throughout their school years. And so Bob Wittenberg had brought this up at our last board meeting, so we've already been thinking about it. So I'm excited to see kind of what everybody else thinks tomorrow at the meeting. Couple updates on grants. One of the grants from American Library Association, Libraries Transforming Communities, Robin has put together essential pantry kits, and those are available in our little free pantry in the front entryway. And they've got, flour, sugar, cornstarch, just some basics that people can pick up if they need some assistance. And then somebody donated a bunch of tomato plants today, so, and I hear she has more. So if any of the members of the community need a tomato plant for their garden, they can stop by and grab one from our front lobby. And just another update Robin had given me. Robin Munson does our adult programming as well as writes grants for us. It was American Rescue Plan Act grant that she applied for, and we used some of that money to increase the number of electronic resources we purchase. So we're part of a consortium, so our patrons have to share with other patrons of the consortium in the state of Iowa. But she used the grant money to buy extra copies just for our patrons of some of those items. And she told me that before she had done that, there was maybe 1 or 2 checkouts at a time, but this last month there were 64 online checkouts. So definitely something we are going to prioritize in next year's budget. So other than that, we are gearing up for the Flag Fest parade. So
Excellent. Any questions for Sarah Beth? I just have a quick comment. I'm glad to see so many people are signed up for the summer reading program, and I'm sure that a lot of those kids are pretty avid readers. But then in conjunction with that, I'm really excited about partnering with the Spencer Schools and the reading coach to get those less than avid readers involved and maybe excited about reading too.
yeah, we're definitely going to have a goal of getting more kids signed up for library cards.
Yeah.
So that'll be our number one goal, and then
Yeah.
just promoting literacy in whatever way we can. So
Sounds good. Thank you, Sarah Beth.
thank you.
Fire, Chief John.
Good evening, Mayor, Manager, and City Council. Yeah. Your city of Spencer Fire Department responded to over 70 calls over this past month, to include 39 medical calls ranging from chest pain to heart attacks to seizures, fall victims, and even a shooting victim. Fire calls, we had 16, including a house fire, garage fire, as witnessed by you, Mayor, and a couple of lift assists, burnt food, some fluid cleanup, and also, as well as a faulty furnace. Our ambulance that's housed in-house also responded 4 times to difficulty breathing, choking victims, fall victims, as well as back pain. A couple of our special duties that we enjoy very much this year was sending the boys and girls soccer teams from Spencer off on a victorious mission, as always. Another great thing was to work the races for Clay County, but even more important was presenting the Sunshine Center with an award of participation in helping us with our fire prevention program. Our training sessions included hose testing as well as practical testing for Fire Service Training Bureau, followed by a couple of EMS trainings. Most importantly was a pre-hospital trauma life support. This class really, truly enhanced the skill sets of all our EMS personnel for diagnostic as well as assessing of not just people that are in shock, but you're having some type of trauma issue. How can we make a good distinction? How can we better wrap our heads around brain injuries and things like that? So it was a very well-received class. Lastly, I'd like to remind the public, if we didn't know it already, Flag Fest is around the corner. So what side of the street do you sit on? How much sun do you have? How much sunblock will you wear? Will you have something to drink besides something that pops a top? Could it be some water? I will hope so. Where's the shade? Ask for some shade. If your children are with you, let's be cautious when we run out into the street and grab some candy. More importantly, this is one of the best days of Spencer. I wish you all well. I hope you enjoy it. Any questions? Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Chief. Police Department, Chief Warburton.
Good evening. The Spencer Police Department responded to 993 calls for service in the month of May and made 44 arrests. This week, or this month, 17th and 19th, we had department-wide training out at the gun range for firearms training for half of a day, which was much better than what we've been doing before. We used to have 8 hours, and now we're kind of breaking that up. So that's definitely a pro here for the PD. Second, we met with the Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau, the sheriff and I, on some changes to the STEP program. Now, this is the program that enforces our seatbelts and the special waves that come through throughout the year. They've added some additional opportunities for agencies regarding increased traffic enforcement during the entire year rather than in special waves. So we're definitely excited about that, looking into that program. Lastly, members of the 911 committee met with the company Lumen, their representatives, to upgrade our 911 Viper system. Now, this is the phone system that's used and operated with our CAS system in the comm center. The price tag for this feature is just under $90,000, and this came in approximately $100,000 under budget. So if you can believe that or not. So 911 will meet this Thursday to accept the bid, hopefully with that representative with the company Lumen. So other than that, we had meetings with the Behavioral Health Advisory Board, safety meetings, and facility conditions needs assessment. That's all I have. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Public Works, Mark?
Good evening again. Public Works is always busy this time of year, of course, with the construction season in full swing. We've done several driveway and sidewalk permits and inspections. Keep in mind, we still have the sidewalk grant program available that pays for the concrete of your sidewalk. Water and sewer inspections. We've resolved a few sewer issues that we always have, but one of them is maybe an excessive amount of grease coming from a facility that we're working with the grease trap inspection and sizing of that. We had some signage projects in town. Also to piggyback on that, you'll see the street division did get the sign installed for the 100 acres west of Spencer. Nice sign, draws a lot of attention. Alec did a nice job laying that out. We submitted an airport grant for a general aviation vertical infrastructure application. We have some new tenants out at the airport that's renting office space in the large hangar, so that's nice to see that facility being used. Of course, it had been vacant for a while, so there's always a few maintenance items to pick up, which is good for a facility to get that and have it be occupied. One of the things that, as the seasons always pass, that we bring up every year, and it's kind of ongoing, we're certainly not trying to be difficult, that's with the fast-growing grass. Just keep in mind not to blow that into the street. It causes sewer issues, and that sewer issue may be your home that affects. We've done some parking lot spraying, safety training. We've had new employee training, our monthly safety program, along with trenching and shoring. We try to pick a topic every month that's in addition for some extra training. Weather permitting, we'll try to start painting the downtown core area. We try to get that done before Flag Fest, but sometimes with the weather conditions, that can be a little challenging. So we'll see how that progress goes. The recycling containers that we did mention earlier at the Walmart and Hy-Vee locations really work well and provide a nice outlet for folks to get rid of commingled recycling material and glass. Keep in mind, that's self-policed, so we could use some assistance on contamination. We've had a little kind of an uptick in that lately, and sometimes it just takes a little reminder, or maybe if you see somebody there, it's not a place just to get rid of your extra garbage. It's for recycling. So the other thing, John did a nice job talking about Flag Fest. You know, it's a great event that goes well. There's always a few little glitches, maybe with traffic and traffic control and pulling the barricades. So just use a little patience there, and we'll get you open back up and get the streets rolling. So, anything for questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Mark, one thing.
I try to usually leave.
Yeah, I know. You
Joyce.
tried to get out of there in a hurry. And you may have mentioned this before, but I just want to bring it up because I happened to be out at the grass and tree site last week, I believe, and noticed the sign about not harvesting wood out there. It's a pretty visible sign, but I did miss it the first time that I went through. But the second time I
Sure.
did catch it. But yeah, and I think it's a good reminder to folks that with emerald ash borer, we aren't going to allow any harvesting of the wood out there.
That's a great point, Mayor. You know, it was nice that people could take advantage of that over the years, but unfortunately, with the emerald ash borer, it's changed that. And, you know, we're probably the worst, you know, for transporting firewood, and that's the way that it moves. So, new signage, and try to draw your attention to that.
Yep, yep. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, Parks and Recreation, Jared is not here tonight, but he did submit a written report. Golf course, Brian?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The golf course has been extremely busy day in and day out with our golf leagues and open golf when the weather does cooperate. Even with healthy winds, some days it's still a lot more people out there than you would expect to see, but it's good. We've been a little short-staffed most of the year. Finally, towards the end of this last week, we got our full maintenance staff back, and our clubhouse staff is up to full strength too now, so that's going to be a big help moving forward. It's kind of been a challenge for us trying to keep up with indoor staffing and outdoor maintenance. We've had a lot of irrigation repairs going on since we opened the season earlier in the year. Hopefully, we're getting most of those behind us, and we can start focusing on daily activities and getting our massive dandelion population under control. But other than that, I think we're just we're happy to have everyone back, and we're happy to see the golfers out there. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. City Attorney's report, Don?
Thank you, Mayor. It was a pretty active month, about 38 hours of various activities, but widely distributed. No particular topic exceeded a couple of hours. I think the positive thing to take is that most of the activity had to do with growth and economic development in one form or another. Properties that are being purchased, improvements that are being made. Spent some time working on a contract for a new service provider in the community. I'll let the city manager tell you about that when he's able and willing.
Got it on my list.
I thought you might, so I won't steal your thunder about that. Any questions?
Thank you, Don. Engineers report, Ross.
Good evening. Got a quick construction update. I'm starting with the West Leach Park boat ramp replacement project. MLS Landscape and Design has been trying to work on that project for about the last month. They came and worked on it for about a month, or excuse me, about a week, and then the river's been jumping up and down since. We do have a paragraph in the spec that says the city would work with the contractor if the river was elevated for an extended period of time. And so I think we're kind of into that situation, obviously. The completion date was May 25th, I believe. So they do call me almost every day, and I've looked for a couple different solutions to keep working on the project, but be my opinion that it's probably best to just give it some time, be patient, and we'll get the best job if we just let the river come back down to normal. So the other project was the 2021 Spencer PD parking lot replacement. Diamond Concrete's been working in there for a couple weeks. They've got the storm sewer work completed on that project. They poured the approach last Friday. They're also working on grading and subgrade prep. So the next thing you'll see is the concrete work. They've got that set up for about 3 big concrete pours. So once the weather cooperates, I think it'll go fairly fast. Working with Mark Warburton, the chief, to keep access as good as we can, but that's been a challenge too. So hopefully the weather straightens out and we can get that work completed. Corey Jurgens is working on the 2022 ADA sidewalk ramp improvements. He's currently on West 11th Street at 11th Avenue West, working on the southeast corner of the intersection. He'll jump up to the north side of that intersection tomorrow and start work. That project hopefully will be wrapped up towards the end of the week. The other thing going on was the 2021 West 4th Street and 32nd Avenue West Storm Sewer Project. BD Construction is working right next to the IGL detention pond there at the Westfield Addition. Hopefully he'll have the storm sewer work completed tomorrow, and that project will be getting pretty close to being done. The only other thing I had was construction is supposed to start on the Rocket Slide project tomorrow after contracts were approved tonight. So that project's going to move forward, hopefully fairly quickly. So, any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Ross.
Thank you.
City Manager's report. Dan.
I got a few things. Like Don alluded to, we've been working with Bird Scooters to bring rental scooters to town, and it's something they approached us with. Don and them went back and forth on the contract. They got it to where they're both happy with it. I need to get it to the chief and discuss it with him, and then we'll bring it before the council, probably in the committee of the whole meeting, before the meeting on the 20th. We get that all worked out for approval of that contract. The second thing is, I brought it up a couple of times, there's a company coming to town to do free videos for the city. There seems to be a misconception out there that the city is spending money out of town. That's not the case. This is a free service to the city. They are trying to sell ads though, and I want to make it very clear that businesses don't have to buy these ads. I would treat it like every other advertiser that approaches you to sell ads, and I analyze that to the best of your ability, decide whether you want to spend the money. It doesn't make any difference to the city whether you do or don't. So, and I am following up on a couple of complaints with that company. I'm going to have a phone call with them on Wednesday. And then, we're going to be trying to schedule a long-term planning committee to go over some of our plans for some of these properties that have been brought up. We've been working quite a bit behind the scenes. Alec has done a lot of work on some of these, so we want to bring that to the long-term planning committee at some point when time becomes available to do that and discuss some of those plans. And that's all I have.
Okay, any questions for Dan? Okay. Item 11, under the mayor's report. First is a motion to approve the following board and commission appointments effective July 1, 2022. Airport Board, Tim Steffen. Historic Preservation, Bob Rose. Historic Preservation, Kara Elbert. Library Board, David Lyons, Jay Oldenkamp, and Jeff Geiger. Park Board, Joe Yarkovsky. Planning and Zoning, Nate Schmidt and Kara Elbert. Plumbing Board of Examiners, Todd Doyle. SMU Board, Chris Tostenrud. And Zoning Board of Adjustment, Don Baxter.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Motion
appointments.
made by Ron. Second by Tom. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And I would just like to thank those people for stepping forward and serving their community. I really appreciate it that they did say yes. Okay. A couple of other things. Today, June 6th, is the 68th anniversary of the D-Day invasion on the beaches of Normandy. And I think we should all remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice, but also those veterans, and there are still a few left, who we should thank for making that day, helping us to preserve freedom and fighting totalitarianism. Second, tomorrow is June 7th, is the date of the primary election. I was down at the county administration building today and voted. But tomorrow is the actual election day to select candidates for the general election. Spencer residents vote at the Events Center. Polls open at 7 o'clock and close at 8 p.m. And then lastly, I was in contact with one of the board members of the Little League Baseball and Softball Board, and I just want to compliment them on extending that deadline again, and so that more kids had the opportunity to participate in baseball and softball this summer. However, they are still finding it somewhat difficult to find volunteers. So for those people who maybe were able to get their kids in as a result of the extended deadline, maybe step up and volunteer, help out the board a little bit when called upon. So that's all I have. Item 12, council and committee reports.
There's, as you can see, there's several of these. There's several of these on here. Personnel Committee's doing a closed session to do my performance evaluation on the 16th. Also, the same evening, up in Arnold's Park, it's the Northwest Iowa League of Cities meeting. Obviously, can't be two places at once, so you have to decide who wants to go to that. Then with the regular city council meeting on the 20th, and like I said, I'd like to probably look over that bird scooter thing in a committee of the whole before that. And as I said, also said earlier, at some point, Lauren wants to have a long-term planning committee meeting, so whenever he's able to do it, we'll schedule that. And then this is going to be really exciting. I know you all think this is great, but you're going to do on July 11th at 5 p.m. We're going to do a tour of the wastewater treatment plant and the landfill, and to teach you all you need to know about those two facilities.
And for those on the council who have never toured the landfill, it is pretty interesting. Yeah, so looking forward to that again. Any questions for Dan? Item 13 is a motion to approve the bills and claims. Motion made by Bill, second by Brian. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 14, other business and opportunity to address the council. I see a familiar face rising to come before the mic. But please give us your name for the record.
Mic to the mic.
Mike Harleman, Stolly Trail Project. Little history. We have an anonymous donor that has treated us very nice in the last couple of years. They have asked that a wood duck houses be built and placed out at Stolly's, and they'd like to have 5 of them. So I'm going, okay, this is no problem. We'll just get a hold of the Boy Scouts. So I got a hold of Troop, come on up, guys, 1, 2, 3, and that was my old scout troop back in the day. And I got a hold of them, and they said, we have an Eagle Scout that needs a project. So Ben and your Scoutmaster, if you would come forth and explain the Eagle Scout project, and also the materials were donated by Schoeneman Lumber Company.
Excellent. So if you can introduce yourself and explain a little bit about the project.
My name is Benjamin Mackey. We are building 5 duck houses at Stolly's for my Eagle Scout project. This is the duck house.
Yeah, so Schuderman's donated the lumber, and we had to cut it all down because it was a little bit bigger. The Eagle Scout project, they're supposed to take on a project that work with a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which the park, supporters falls underneath that, and it's supposed to, get volunteer hours and scout involvement, community involvement, everything. So this is the project, and we got Schudemann's, to donate the lumber, and he's had a couple people, other people working on the project with him and donating their materials like saws and stuff like that, so.
So when will we see the ducks houses out in the park there?
So we got, 2 of them fully assembled right now, we got the other ones cut in kits, and, we'll be presenting those to the supporters, and then next, spring is when they're planning to put those out on it'd be the southeast corner of, the Stolly Lake.
Okay, so are you taking applications for residents, or are you guys?
I don't know how that would work.
We set
That's
the
another
rental
Eagle Scout project, I guess, yeah. Yeah. Okay, how long does it take to build one of the houses?
probably 5 hours.
Yeah, we don't have it full, he has to keep track of all the hours that he's
Yeah.
gonna be putting into the project and, who all volunteered and everything. We haven't broken down completely, cause we were kinda building them as a kit and assembling them, so we don't have a
Yeah.
per duck house, but I'd say probably about 2 hours of time between cutting the lumber down and getting it all fitted and put together.
And also at this time, I'd like to present a challenge coin to you in reference to the Stolly Trail project.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Very
time and
nice.
effort, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great project, and thanks for sitting through the city council meeting to make your presentation as well.
That was 2 hours.
Extra credit.
Yeah. Anyone else? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Donovan. Second by Brian. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. I forgot to ask you.